I wanted to know from all you guys who your best fantasy rookie is going into this year's season. All right, Connor, you first, all the way through to Ian, to obviously John, to Mike, to Ray, to Travis, to Mr. Rochman. I want to know if you were to pick right now who your best fantasy rookie is, who would it be?
I'd say it's got to be hard not to be Ashton Genty just because of the talent that he is and where he went. And I mean, outside of Genty, and I mean, you can Marion Hampton's a good name to bring up too. A lot of the skill players in this class was lacking that real top end talent, like Tedoro McMillan. He goes to Carolina where that passing game has kind of been up and down, more so down than up. So it's hard to really think that he can come in even with his skill set and how good of he is as a player to make a huge impact. But you got to go with Ashton Genty in this conversation just because I feel like the Raiders can do some things up front in the blocking game. There's not a lot of weapons there. Not sure, what's going to happen with the quarterback situation after what they did this offseason. So he'll probably see a lot of touches, both as a ball carrier and a pass catcher. And I think that he's going to be a guy who's going to go really early in the fantasy drafts.
Ian, who do you got?
Yeah, I think the obvious ones are going to be, like Hampton's a great pick. But I'll go with, I think the obvious ones are one thing, but I'm going to go off the wall a little bit. I'll say Emeka Egbuka with Tampa Bay. I think those old receivers, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, banged up, got a lot of injury history there. We know they're going to throw the ball a ton. They have a little bit of a better running game after last year, but we know if Baker Mayfield's going to be up in the top 5 as far as passing attempts. And if we can project a little bit of missed time, especially for Chris Godwin, I think Egbuka really sets himself up to become the replacement there very quickly. And I think that offense does a good job of prioritizing targets enough to be able to say that he's at least going to be in the mix. I mean, touchdowns are always what kind of throws those things, but I'll go a little bit off the wall there.
All right, John, who do you got?
Yeah, I'll go. Obviously, we're all going to say Genty on here. That's the problem with this question. I'll go ahead and take a flyer as well. And I really think Green Bay got a good one with Matthew Golden in the first round. Golden, I came in the year, I heard a lot about him from my guys at Houston before he transferred to Texas. They all swore then he was a first-round pick, and I kind of thought they were a little crazy. But you go back to that, especially late in the season when the offense had kind of developed and they were getting into an offensive groove. Matthew Golden was the X factor here, and we didn't realize he was going to run as fast as he did either, running the 4.3. I think it was sub 4.3 is what he ran the combine. But he's got the full package. He's a great receiver through contact. He's a very efficient route runner. He's got that breakaway speed. So there's not a lot that you can't do with him. And I think that he could build some synergy with Jordan Love pretty quickly.
Mike, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, Genty's going to be in the first round if he's, I know there are people who draft right now, if you're talking about redraft leagues. If he's not already in the first round, he will be in the next, week or two. I think when you're looking at just a regular fantasy football league, a 1-year league, you could look at any of these running backs and, they're all draftable. I guess to throw one out there, we haven't talked about, and I think maybe I'm proud of myself for this one. I got a little bit lucky. I'm in a Devy league where you draft college players before they get drafted. Last year, I took a flyer late on Travis Hunter. So that I got lucky on that one. He's going to be a receiver. Maybe when you get into the 6th round, 7th round of some of these redraft leagues, he might potentially still be there if people are worried he's not going to, play close to 100% of the snaps on offense. So I don't know. Maybe Travis Hunter. I haven't really started my fantasy football stuff for the year yet, though.
Okay, and I'm sorry. Mike, you done? I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm done.
All right, I just wanted to make sure because I thought you were going to say something. Ray, who do you got?
Okay, so the answer is Ashton Genty, but I'm going to also obviously take a slight left turn here.
Travis Hunter?
I'm going to say Travis Hunter.
Ray's going to name his all-22 team Gremlins.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Terrence Ferguson, the tight end for the Rams. That's their first draft pick that was their first selection in this draft, and so that's their top pick. They didn't select him to just kind of sit on the bench there. I do like his profile, and so obviously Puka's the number one target over there in LA. But outside of that, Tyler Higbee's contract is up after this season. Adams is aging. Atwell is a smaller slot, so there's a role to be filled here with Terrence Ferguson. Yeah, obviously tight ends can take a longer time to sort of go into the end. I'm not saying he's going to be a tight, top 8 tight end or anything, but clearly they have a plan for this player. And if the Rams have a plan for a player and invest highly in that player, then my ears and eyes perk up there and I'm going to pay attention. So I'm going to say keep an eye on Terrence Ferguson, especially in dynasty leagues too.
Well, you're a perky person, and Deshaun Watson is too. And by the way, we had Terrence Ferguson on our show when he was in 12th grade. He came on our show, and I'll never forget when we interviewed him, and he was sitting at his desk, and his dogs were just barking crazy on the other side of the door. And he was sitting there laughing as we were just joking around with him, asking him silly questions. So now Terrence is a second-round draft pick and looks like he might be a pretty big star in the NFL. I'm looking forward to seeing what he is and what he's going to be.
I got to go Travis Hunter just to take you off again. That's fine.
What is up with this Travis Hunter thing?
Props to Mike for shouting out the best fantasy football format ever, which is Devy fantasy football. Unless you're talking about campus to Canton.
You're gonna piss Ray off.
Full on college football fantasy roster alongside your NFL. That's actually the best. But good man, Mike. Good man, Mike. I'm going to shout out the other format that's fun that no one plays is the IDP, individual defensive player formats, and that's where Travis Hunter legit is the number one. And I play in those leagues because you can get points for every pass breakup, every tackle, and every whatever else on offense that Travis Hunter brings. And so from that perspective, that's the only situation where Ashton Jeanty is not the obvious pick. And so I think that's going to be fun because no matter what happens there, you're getting value. And so I think that they're going to find a way to, whether he's more of a wide receiver right away or more of a corner right away in terms of where his production actually lies, you still get some decent upside. And I think that there's a non-0% chance that he actually becomes a really, really good wide receiver in this league. And they need another wide receiver to emerge alongside Brian Thomas Jr. They want that to happen. So even outside of just the defensive contribution, I think there's a path to wide receiver one in this draft. Cornerbacks are super volatile for IDP leagues, and so I wouldn't invest heavily. But when he does both, sign me up.
You guys are crazy. I want to say something. We got to get all you guys in a fantasy, all of you guys. Ray, we did your all 22. Maybe we do a couple of these like tournaments, and the winner has to do something crazy. The loser has to, or the losers have to do something crazy on this show. I don't know. We'll have to figure this out.
Ray, here's a
we'll
chance
have to do something.
Here's a chance for you to get Errol to wear a Gremlins costume.
First of all, I've done a lot of stupid things. Anybody that puts, I'm just icy hot in their genitals for 10 minutes to break a record, which I did, by the way, is
and
a little crazy.
Weirded them all out.
It's true. I did it. I broke a record, 10 minutes, and we're still working on the Guinness Book of World Records putting it. But they said I have to do it again. I told them they're out of their damn minds. I took 9.5 showers, and I put the half because after the half, I felt like somebody was going to pop right off after the 9.5. So
don't do that. Travis and Ray will get you a Travis Hunter jersey.
No, that's not going to happen. You will never see me.
You can start a league, but I'm not going to wait to find out the results of that league before mailing you one. So we'll get the address. We'll send you something, a nice little gift basket for you.
All right.
We'll go have these. We'll make it happen.
All right, Mike, give us your best fantasy rookie this coming year.
I agree with everyone here that Genty's probably far and away the number one option, but I don't think it's necessarily a hot take to say that Tyler Warren is going to be pretty intriguing in fantasy leagues this year. Landed with the Indianapolis Colts, and I think a lot of people maybe had a misconception heading into the draft cycle of what Tyler Warren was, but this is a guy who is dominant on manufactured touches, and they don't really want Anthony Richardson tossing the ball downfield as much as he did last season. They want him getting easy opportunities to develop and produce to where he can kind of build sustained success in that offense. Tyler Warren's a guy that was getting direct snaps last season. He was getting countless screens. I think 25% of his targets came behind the line of scrimmage. This is a guy that is going to get the ball in short situations, and they're going to let him go create on his own. Indianapolis has a creative play caller with Shane Steichen at head coach. I'm excited to see what he can do in that landing spot, and I think it's going to be a very exciting opportunity for him. I also want to say when you're looking at rookies that you're going to draft in fantasy, a lot of it is just about opportunity and volume opportunity. So a guy like Mason Taylor could be in for a big year because outside of Garrett Wilson, there's not necessarily a lot of competition for targets in that offense. We've seen Justin Fields support a tight end one and Cole Kmet. Don't be surprised if Mason Taylor has a pretty promising first year and looks like a great steal for that day 2 pick.